husband and I got married 4 months ago, right in the middle of inflation happening. In our first month of being married, we spent 2 people over $800 in groceries. It was ridiculous. I knew as soon as that happened that we had to do something different in our grocery budget. We literally cut our groceries in half just by using these 10 tips I'm going to be sharing with you guys. First tip that I'm going to be sharing with you is that we minimized all of the products that we use. So the best example I could come up with this is not in the grocery store, but it's actually with my skincare routine. So instead of having literally like 12 different products on my shelf for all of my skincare needs, I just started minimizing the products that I use. So instead of using a different moisturizer in the morning and a different moisturizer at night, I just started using the same moisturizer at the same time. In doing so, I'm not replacing as many products all the time that I use. So instead of having to repurchase 2 different moisturizers, one for the daytime and one for the nighttime, I'm just repurchasing one moisturizer whenever that goes out. And something similar happens in the kitchens. So we gravitate more towards foods that we can use in a variety of areas. Like instead of buying a boxed pancake mix or waffle mix, we will usually just buy flour and we will make our own waffle mix. The second secret tip that I have is to buy in bulk only the things that you know you would naturally eat a lot of. So for us, that is shredded cheese, that is flour, sugar, baking items, frozen veggies, and chicken. We go through all of these ingredients so much. My tip is that not everything that is bought in bulk is actually going to save you money. So when you're in the grocery store, I just want you guys to whip out that phone or that calculator, whatever you have, and just do a little calculation of what the price is per ounce. That is going to tell you how much that 1 unit, 1 ounce is going to be at one store versus another store, but also in different sizes. So even just buying the bulk thing of shredded cheese sometimes is the same price per ounce as if you were to buy just a smaller pack of cheese. But one thing that I do love about buying in bulk, especially those things that are not going to go bad as often like flour and canned goods, is that buying in bulk, not only does it usually save me money, it also saves me time, because buying in bulk means I need to buy the product less often, which means I make less runs to the grocery store, especially when I don't remember that I need to buy more shredded cheddar. I just have a bunch of it frozen in my freezer. I don't have to remember to go out and get it, or I don't have to run to the grocery store when I know I need to get it and then end up paying full price for something that if I did a little bit of planning, I wouldn't have had to spend all that money on. And this leads me to my third secret tip, which is to start making certain things at home. So for us, I make all of our bread. I typically make our own pancake mix if we're having pancakes. If we are having pizza, I will make the pizza from scratch. Same with muffin mix or pie crust. All of those things I make from scratch. And by doing so, we usually get a better quality product because I can make a sourdough loaf a lot cheaper than if I were to go buy one in the store. And this is also what I mean by buying in bulk. If we have a lot of flour on hand, I'm able to make most of these things fairly quickly. And oftentimes what I do is when I know we're going to have, like, let's say a pizza night, I will pre-make 2 to 4 crusts and then throw them in the freezer. And then whenever we're having pizza night next, I just pull out the ones that I already made, and then I don't have to go through the whole mess of making the pizza dough and then cleaning up after it and then freezing it. I just make it in one batch and I save it for like the rest of the month. Same goes for bread. Usually I make bread once a week, and that's just so that we have fresh bread every time. And that's something that we've actually really enjoyed. I enjoy making the bread on my own, but my husband also really enjoys my homemade breads, and it saves us money at the same time. The fourth secret tip I have is not unbeknownst to everyone, but is to just look out for those sales and stack those sales with coupons. One of my favorite websites that I am constantly checking is called Hip to Save. Hip to Save is like a online deal blog. I started following them in 2014 when they had just really started, when they were doing coupon deals in Target, and they were posting videos about all the deals in different stores. And now they have evolutionized to doing a lot of online deals. So anytime there's like a really good deal on something on Amazon or any retailer online, really, they post something about it. They even have an app, so it's super easy for me to check the deals every once in a while. One of my favorite places to shop is Walgreens. Walgreens actually secretly has some really insane awesome deals. If I get something from Walmart that I catch on sale and with a coupon, I can usually get an extremely good deal on it. But I will say coupons have certainly evolutionized. They used to be like those paper coupons that you clipped out from the newspaper. Now it's a lot easier to get coupons on your phone. A lot of times stores have manufacturer coupons that you guys can connect to your rewards card. So if I have a Walgreens card, card. I can add manufacturer coupons on the app from my account, and then that comes off from the register. But there's also coupons like Ibotta. Ibotta is a cash back app where if you buy certain products, you can get money back. Those are two of my favorite resources. I will link them both down below. I believe I have a referral code for the Ibotta app, which gets you like $10, but that will be in the description bar. Something I do love about Ibotta is that Ibotta oftentimes has free offers, so they offer free products on their app. If you buy the item in the store, you can submit the receipt and get a full rebate back for whatever the cost of that product was. So I've gotten to try a lot of really cool products for free that I otherwise wouldn't have purchased. For example, I got this Silk Next milk. It's like a plant-based milk. I got it at Walmart. It was like $3.68 normal price. And then on Ibotta, they had a coupon for $3.38 back. So I ended up paying only 30 cents for this half gallon of milk. And it was really cool. I got to try something new. I often do things like this. The same time I bought this milk, I also got like this protein shake for free. And I've always gotten a bunch of little things for free. So anytime I'm grocery shopping, I usually just scroll through Ibotta just to see if they have any free items. There's actually a section down at the bottom of the app that you can go check out, and it'll pop up all of the offers that they have for a free item. Put that milk back. Fifth secret that I have to share with you guys is to go generic. I know a lot of people are gonna have a lot of opinions about this, and I'm not saying that you have to go generic on everything you buy. There are certain things that actually the manufacturer of the private label is made at the same manufacturer as the generic label. So I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, no, my name brand Oreos are not changing. I'm not saying you have to change your Oreo brand. I'm just saying that maybe for certain things, it may be cheaper to get the generic brand versus the private label. The sixth secret tip that I have is a big one, and it was a major game changer for us, and that was to switch our grocery stores. So before, when we were not really tracking our budget, before inflation happened, I was shopping at Whole Foods. I would go to Safeway. We would buy a lot of things in bulk at Costco, and we also did a lot of shopping at Target. We really were just shopping out of convenience, and really all of those places, especially Whole Foods, can be very, very pricey. So when I started really going through our budget and seeing where we could cut on, I completely changed where we started shopping. I started doing a lot of shopping, surprisingly, at Walgreens and CVS. Those two actually have really good prices for toilet paper and laundry detergent, and they also have good prices on cereal, and we go through a lot of cereal. We used to buy the big boxes at Costco of cereal. What I realized is actually the best place for us to buy cereal is at the drugstore. So like, for example, this week, these cereals were on sale for $1.99, and then there's almost always like some coupon that they have in their app. There was $1 off 2 coupon in the CVS app this week, and so I used that. And then there was also a 50% off Ibotta offer for each of these, so I ended up getting each of these boxes for about $1. I also started doing the majority of our grocery shopping at Aldi. I have come to love Aldi so much, not just because that all the prices are just generally so much cheaper, but it's just personally enjoy the Aldi experience. I'm like in and out usually in like 15 minutes, and it's like the path into an Aldi is almost like an IKEA where there's like really just one path to go around, and it's just so convenient. I can get in and out in 15 minutes. There's usually only like 1 or 2 options for every product, and that makes picking things just so much easier for me. Typically stick to one Aldi, and I know pretty much where everything is. The other stores that we shop at are Walmart. When I want like more private label stuff like Oreos, I will typically go to Walmart. Something that my husband really likes is the Fairlife chocolate milk, which the cheapest price I've ever found it is at Walmart. So oftentimes we are doing at least once a week a Walmart trip. And then for certain bulk items, we go to Costco and Sam's Club. Typically Costco because it's a little bit closer to us, and we also always fill up on gas when we go to Costco or Sam's Club. Yes, it may take a little while to get through that line, but it's always worth it because our gas is always significantly cheaper there than anywhere else. And if anything is being affected by this inflation, it is certainly gas prices. And then on occasion, we do some Trader Joe's shopping as well, because Trader Joe's oftentimes does have a lot of really good prices as well. I am actually like really convinced that in our society, what we are generally paying for is how things are presented to us. So if you think about it, like in a Whole Foods or in most other grocery stores, we are paying for certain products to be presented well to us in the grocery store. Like at Whole Foods, they always stack all of those vegetables and fruits so nicely. The reason Aldi is cheap is because they are literally like cutting out all of the steps that an employee would have to do. The 7th secret tip that I have is to stock up on things when they are on sale. So this kind of goes hand in hand with my earlier point about being smart when things are on sale and also combining them with a coupon. This I'm saying, all right, well, if you can find something that you use often that you know you are going to use all of on sale and with a coupon, maybe stock up on it. Not only is it going to save you money, it's also going to save you time because you're not going to have to be constantly replenishing that supply. But just make sure that all of that food you are going to use by the time that expiration date ends. Things that we often stock up on are like frozen pizzas or frozen veggies. We use those a lot. We know we can keep those in the freezer and then they last a long time. My 8th tip, and this is one of my secret tips, is to not waste anything. I literally do not waste anything. And that goes all the way from like when we stay in a hotel room, you best believe I am taking all of those little toiletries home. If we only stay for one night at a place and they come with like a little soap bar, I will almost always take that soap bar home and use it at home. That may sound really weird and gross maybe to some people. In my opinion, soap is soap. It's gonna clean your hands, it's gonna clean your body, whatever. The same thing goes for our groceries and our kitchen. So oftentimes at the beginning of the week, if I'm planning out a meal, I will usually start with an ingredient that we have in either the fridge or in the pantry that I'm trying to use up. So something that's really just been sitting around, maybe is going bad soon and I just want to use up and not waste. In early October, I had bought this like little pumpkin and it was just a little decoration that we sat right next to our TV when obviously fall was over. And instead of just tossing that pumpkin out, I actually just looked up how do I roast a pumpkin and then use that puree. So I ended up cutting that whole pumpkin in half, roasting it, and then I scooped out all of the insides, I pureed them, and then I ended up making a pumpkin pie out of that pumpkin puree. It was literally the best pumpkin pie I have ever had and have ever made. It was so delicious. And then I also saved all of the seeds from the inside and I roasted the seeds with some seasoning and I ate those as a snack at some other point. Not only did I think my pie was good, my husband also thought my pie was amazing, and I still have some puree left that's in the freezer, so I need to use that up before it does go bad. I honestly would say just get creative about what you are using. Like there are certain ingredients that I'm like, I have no idea how to use this in any type of dish that I would actually eat. A lot of times I'll just take that ingredient, I'll put a Google search in of like blank recipe. Like for example, I had a bunch of these like crepe egg white sheets that I got from Costco that I never ended up using for the recipe that I wanted to. Pini wraps, which I actually bought from Costco a while ago for another recipe that I never ended up using. So I looked up a recipe using the crepe peonies. I ended up creating this lasagna with the crepes instead of like noodles, and that is what I'm making today. It is not glamorous. It just used all of the things that are in my fridge already in my kitchen, so I didn't have to go buy anything, and that's dinner. I will honestly say there are sometimes I just don't love the meal, and a lot of times when that happens, I just toss it up and I'm like, all right, well, I don't really love this dish, but I know eating it is going to fuel me and do what food is supposed to do. And at that point, I just learned my lesson about what I did, and I just don't buy that ingredient in the future, and then I probably just won't make that dish again. But I don't waste anything, really. I joke in here that we use the whole buffalo in this house. And also, I do keep a section in our kitchen just for ingredients that I'm trying to use up. So that way I know generally what's in the kitchen, because sometimes when I'm trying to use up products, they kind of get hidden in the pantry somewhere. So I like to keep them all in one place and then try and use them from there. The 9th tip that I have is to minimize disposable items. So I don't know about everybody, but for us, Ziploc baggies do count in our grocery budget. I am the person who washes Ziploc baggies if they are lightly used and I use them again. I have no shame about that. I also do have some reusable baggies that I got from Aldi that weren't too expensive. And then if I can avoid using a baggie altogether, I will use reusable containers. So we do have a lot of reusable containers. There was actually on the Hip to Save website, they posted about a really good deal on this, a 26-piece set of Rubbermaid containers. I bought that. I've been using that to like marinate our chicken instead of putting it in a Ziploc baggie. That's been saving us money on buying plastic baggies. Same with foil. We oftentimes reuse foil, especially like I'll make baked ziti and then I'll cover the baked ziti for a certain period of time when it's in the oven, and then I usually save that foil and then use it when I'm putting the baked ziti back in the fridge. Same with parchment paper. When I'm making sourdough bread, I will oftentimes save the parchment paper. It usually only lasts like 2 breads, so I don't usually save it longer than that because it starts to crumble. I save all glass food jars. Literally, if anything comes in a glass food jar, I save it. I've used jars to then organize things in other parts of our house, like in my craft area. I organized all of my ribbons by color in different jars that I saved from food items. I sometimes gift my sourdough starter to other people, so I save those jars and put that sourdough starter in those jars to gift to other people. And I do some other things with jars too, like I store banana peels in water. I save the banana peels from my bananas and I soak them in water, and then I use that water in my plants down there because I read that banana water is really good for plants and my plants have been thriving right now. So I do all sorts of things with those glass jars. There's really like an infinite possibility with all those things. Same with our trash bags, not our trash bags, but with our recycling. So like this is our Trader Joe's bag. I just went to Trader Joe's earlier today and I will save all of those paper bags and I use them for our recycling. So I don't usually use those bags for our garbage can, but for recycling it's fine because all of those recycling items are dry. By using those bags, I'm not using bags that I would otherwise buy, and that saves us money in the long run. My 10th secret tip is to meal plan. I know this isn't great in a lot of people's heads and they don't like the idea of meal planning because it's kind of intimidating, but I will say it works. It has been working for us. It has put us on a schedule of what we are eating and it helps us communicate about what we need in our fridge and also just helps us start on the same page. So at the beginning of our week, we usually have some sort of conversation about, all right, what are we eating each day? Or which days are either one of us out of the house for dinner, and then what is the plan for dinner for that other person. So we will plan that out. Like this week we had like baked ziti, we had pizza, we had spaghetti and meatballs. We clearly love Italian in our house, and we will plan out who is going to be making those dinners each day. So if I'm working late, then he's going to be making dinner, then I can come home and we can eat. And then we oftentimes make enough so we have a good amount of leftovers. So really we are only cooking 3 or 4 times a week, and that saves on time for us throughout the week to be doing other things. Noah, my husband, also usually grills a bunch of chicken throughout the week and he uses that in his meals for work. I will say I do work part-time, so I am able to spend more time meal planning and then also finding deals like that. For me, I would rather not be working as much or not being a slave to somebody else's time and using that time to find better deals on groceries. I feel like I have more control of my time than if I were to be working a job that is consuming more of my time and then I'm just really just spending more on groceries at the same time. It takes a little bit of extra effort, but it's definitely worth it for us. This is my bonus tip, and that is to save those receipts that you have, all right? So I've made several videos about how you can use those receipts to make money from them. This is my receipt from Trader Joe's. I will take this receipt and put it into one of my receipt apps. I've made several videos on making money from receipts. I will link one of them up in a card up above, and I will link the others down in the description bar. I've been able to make very slowly several $100s just from scanning my receipts. It's always an extra little cash bonus, which is really nice. So I don't skimp on that. It's a patient process, but that's something that I do. And if you want to just make a tiny bit extra money every month, great way to do that. I'm not saying that all of these tips are something that you guys are gonna have to be doing forever, really. I don't think our generation has seen this type of inflation, and just sharing some tips with you guys that you guys can use hopefully in the short term of how to save money on some of those grocery bills and just get by in this time. Comment down below where your budget has been hurting in this inflationary period. I know we're all struggling at least a little bit in some areas, so if you enjoyed this video on these little saving tips on saving money on inflation, I do have this video which I think you'll really like, which is all of my tips and tricks on how I saved up my first $100,000, but by the time I was 25 years old. So if you want to check that out here. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe down below, like and comment down below. But with that all said, thank you for checking out my video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.